Defective car tires are causing deadly accidents, and there still may be millions on the road today, even though they were subject to recall. Could your car be hiding this dangerous secret? Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross for our series, Nightline Investigates.
The tire industry doesn't like to talk about it, but it has made and distributed millions of tires over the last decade that could lead to serious accidents. And as these safety tests show, even a skilled driver who knows he's going to lose a tire cannot keep control.
And where's your emergency?
Yes, I just seen a bad accident. A little girl swung out on the road. Her car flipped upside down on the side. It's bad. She's hurt bad.
Despite a series of recalls,
They're fixing to land the birds.
it is something far too many Americans have learned only after it was too late. Like this professional model in Atlanta,
Good trick.
Kristen Rose, badly injured when a recalled tire fell apart.
And the next thing I know, I just hear a loud pop. And then, basically everything just went so fast. It's a big blur.
A business executive in Alabama, Carolyn Thorne, paralyzed for life.
It's like I heard a popping sound. And then the car just started vibrating, came up control.
We're going to go through the end of it, Lord. You'll see us through.
And members of this Baptist church in Newport Richey, Florida. 2 adults dead, 8 others injured as they drove to a retreat.
God takes tragedies and uses them for his glory.
According to federal safety investigators, several hundred people are killed every year in accidents in which tires are a factor. Tires punctured, or underinflated, or poorly maintained, or in some cases, tires that were actually under recall because of safety defects, but remained in use by motorists who apparently never got the word of the danger. All this due in large part to an archaic and badly flawed recall system that neither the government nor the industry have done much to fix.
It's a mess. It doesn't work.
Sean Cade is a safety analyst who consults for government investigators and lawyers who sue tire companies.
Here we have a highly engineered product that offers great value to the customer, and yet in 2014, we have no system to discern whether or not those tires are part of a recall.
In fact, an ABC News undercover investigation conducted with ABC stations across the country found potentially dangerous recalled tires still being sold at some retail outlets as if they were perfectly safe.
There is no way that shop can examine the tire at a glance and determine whether it's part of a recall. There's no database, there's no system. It really is the invisible hazard.
That's what Carolyn Thorne discovered after her accident.
I learned that the tire blew out. And I'm saying, the tire blew out? Those are brand new tires on that truck. How would a tire blow out?
She had taken her Ford Explorer to a local Walmart to check on the tires 1 week before the accident. The mechanics failed to realize the spare they rotated into use had been recalled as dangerous years before. That's the one that failed. A jury found Walmart responsible.
You count on them to do?
Count on them to do their job.
And as a result?
As a result, I'm in this wheelchair.
In the case of the Florida Church Group, they were in a van heading north on I-75 when a left rear tire blew. The driver lost control and the van flipped over. The tire that police say was at fault had been under safety recall for more than a year. But apparently, neither the church officials nor the mechanics at Sam's Club, where the tire had been recently serviced, were aware of the looming danger.
So we're going to try to find out what happened along the way, who was responsible.
Don Carroll of the National Transportation Safety Board says the church accident has helped to trigger a first-of-its-kind special federal investigation of tire safety and the recall system's effectiveness for consumers and retailers.
There's supposed to be a process in place to make sure that they know, but in many cases they don't.
As we saw in our undercover investigation, in San Francisco, reporters at KGO-TV went to a Costco store where they bought these 3 Michelin tires that had been recalled last year because of a potentially serious safety defect.
We were able to buy 3 recalled tires, and it didn't appear as if anyone at the store knew they had been recalled.
Both Costco and Michelin said those tires never should have been sold, saying they don't know how that happened.
Afternoon.
In Atlanta, at a small tire outlet, Jim Strickland of WSB TV actually was able to buy one of the infamous Firestone tires that was recalled in the year 2000 after dozens of deaths. More than a decade later, the salesman told him the tire was perfectly fine.
It's a good tire? It's new? It's not one of those recalls, is it?
Nope.
The store's manager later said he did not know the tire could be dangerous.
But I don't know anything about it. We just sell the tires, and I didn't know it was recalled.
Critics of the tire industry say it bears much of the blame because it doesn't do enough to alert consumers to the many safety recalls. In testimony for one lawsuit against Firestone, an official of the company hired to handle recall reminder notices testified that some of them failed to be delivered because the notices were sent third-class mail, not first class, to save money on postage.
And if the customer had moved and their address and their mail had been forwarded, how would they get this mail?
Objection.
They probably would not. Yeah, they probably wouldn't.
Economics drive safety sometimes. That's unfortunate.
Firestone says its recall efforts go well beyond what is required by law, and the industry says safety is its highest priority.
We don't want to see recall tires sold.
And yet they are.
Yet they are.
But Dan Zielinski, the Washington representative for the industry trade group, displayed a distinct lack of knowledge about the extent of the recall problem when he sat down with us.
How many tires have been recalled because of defects over the last decade?
I don't know what that number is.
Approximately.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
You don't
I wouldn't
know.
ballpark. I wouldn't ballpark a number.
You
on
represent the tire industry, and you don't know that number.
We represent 8 companies that manufacture tires in the U.S.
And you don't know that number.
I don't know the number.
It took us about 15 minutes to add up all the recalls going back to the beginning of 2004 until this week. The total number of tires recalled for safety defects, more than 5 million. And then the key question, for those 5 million plus, how effective have the recalls been?
How many actually get off the road?
I don't have a percentage of that.
You have no idea?
I don't.
But we got an answer from the National Transportation Safety Board official who is investigating tire safety.
To the best of my knowledge, it's 20% or lower.
Are actually recalled?
That are actually physically recovered and sent to the manufacturer and actually looked at.
That means some 80% or more of the recalled tires are never actually sent back to the manufacturer. Some may have been discarded by their owners, but doing the math, there appear to be more than 4 million potentially dangerous tires that are unaccounted for.
So is this recall system broke, do you think?
I think the recall system does need improvement. Certainly the notification system does need improvement.
Every tire has a unique 11 or 12 alphanumeric tire identification number, the TIN, on its sidewall. But as safety consultant Sean Kane showed us, there is no government website that allows consumers to simply enter the TIN number and check on recalls.
And when you look at it, it's a complete disaster. It's incredibly confusing.
You know what you're looking for, but for the average person looking at that website, how difficult is that?
For the average person, I don't think it's viable, feasible in any way, shape, or form. It's not going to happen.
Of the 9 ABC stations that went looking for recalled tires, 7 said the stores they went to seemed to be doing a good job, and they found no recalls for sale. And as for the other 2, Kane says, given the mess of a recall system, it really is no surprise that our ABC News undercover teams, or anyone, could end up with potentially dangerous recalled tires.
They do an inspection on the tires, they rotate them, but they can't tell us if they're recalled? That's stunning.
And devastating for the congregation at the First Baptist Church in Newport Richey, Florida. For Carolyn Thorne in Alabama, in pain every day. And for Kristen Rose, injured because of a tire recalled when she was a teenager 14 years ago, yet still on the road.
It's been 14 years and it's still going on? That's scary. That's really scary.
It's bad. She's hurt bad.
For Nightline, this is Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.